Good afternoon, everyone. It's a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon here on the 3rd of January, Friday. Mark's been reading through the book of Luke. Today he's going to be reading for us in the 20th chapter of Luke. A lot is covered in this chapter. It begins by saying that one of the days that he taught the people in the temple, the chief priests and the scribes came upon him with the elders and said, "Tell us, by what authority do you do these things? Who gave thee this authority?" And Jesus said, "I will ask you one thing and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men?" And of course, the reason they didn't answer him is they knew that the people believed that John was a prophet. And so they answered Jesus, "By this we cannot tell you." And Jesus said, "Well, I won't tell you what authority I do these things then." And he talked about the husband in the vineyard and how that they sent a servant, they beat the servant, they sent another servant, and then they sent a third servant, wounded him. Then the Lord said, "I'll send them my own heir." And they said, "Let us kill him." Well, he was referring, of course, to himself, that he would be killed. And he even quoted scripture. He says, "This, as is written, the stone which the builders rejected, the same became the head of the corner." Well, the chief priests and scribes didn't like that at all, because they perceived that he spoke of them. And they continued to watch him. They sent for spies. And they tried to trick him by asking him if they should pay taxes unto Caesar. And he asked him to show him a penny and asked him whose image was on the penny. And they said Caesar's, and he said, "Render therefore unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, unto God the things which be God's." And then they came back to him about Sadducees, of course, denied the resurrection. They came back to him to try to set forth their doctrine about all these people that were married to the same person, and said, "Who's of the seven brethren, who will be his wife in the resurrection?" And Jesus said, "You don't even know the scriptures." Basically, he says that in the resurrection, neither marry nor are given in marriage. He says he's not the God of the dead, but of the living. After he said that, it said they didn't ask him any more questions. And then Jesus asked them a question, "How say that Christ is David's son?" And he quoted the Psalms. The Lord said to my Lord, "Sit thou on my right hand till I make my enemies thy footstool." And Jesus warned them. He said, "Beware of the scribes which desire to walk in long robes and love greetings in the markets and highest seats in the synagogues and chief rooms at the feast." I experienced that among a lot of the people that I was raised in, especially at the graduation ceremonies. Those chief people in the school liked to walk in their long robes and loved sitting on the platforms and loved letting people see how many degrees they had, highest seats in the synagogues, chief rooms at the feast. I experienced that firsthand. Well, I'm going to turn this over to Mark, have him read this. I hope you all have a blessed day today. And like I've often said, if a person has doctor in front of their name or master or reverend, look out. You all have a blessed day.
Luke chapter 20. It came to pass that on one of those days he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel. The chief priests and the scribes came upon him with the elders, spake unto him, saying, Tell us, by what authority doest thou these things? Or who is that gave thee this authority? And he answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? They reasoning within themselves, saying, If we shall say from heaven, he will say, Why then believed ye not him? But if we say of men, all the people will see us, for they will swear that John was a prophet. And they answered, they could not tell from where he was. And Jesus said to them, Neither will tell I by what authority I do these things. Then began he to speak to the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, and let it forth to husbandmen, and went into a far country for a long time. And at the season he sent a servant to the husbandmen, that they should give him the fruit of the vineyard. The husbandmen beat him, and sent him away empty. And again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and treated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And again he sent a third, they wounded him also, and again cast him out. Then said the Lord of the vineyard, What shall I do? I will send my beloved son. It may be that they will reverence him when they see him. But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. What therefore is the Lord of the vineyard do? The vineyard harvest do? He shall come and destroy these husbandmen, and shall give the vineyard to others. And when they heard it, they said, God forbid. He beheld them and said, What is it then that is written? The stone which the builders reject was saved, become the head of the corner. Stone. Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever shall fall will grind him to powder. And the chief priests, the scribes, the same hour sought to lay hands on him. They feared the people, for they perceived that he had spoken this parable for them. And they watched him and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men. They might take hold of his mighty words, so they might deliver him into the power and authority of the governor. And to ask him, saying, Master, we know that thou sayest to teach us rightly, and being acceptest thou the person of any to teach the way of God truthfully. Is it lawful for us to give tribute unto Caesar, or no? But he perceived the craftiness and said to them, Why tempt ye me? Show me a pity. Whose image and superscripture hath it? They answered and said, Caesar's. He said to them, Render unto Caesar the thing which be Caesar, unto God the thing which be God's. They could not take hold of his word before the people. They marveled at his answer and held their peace. Then came to him certain of the Sadducees which denied that there is a resurrection, and they asked him, saying, Master, Moses wrote unto us, if any man brothers die, having a wife, and he die without children, and his brothers should take his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. There were therefore 7 brothers. The first took a wife and died without children, and the second took her to wife, and he died childless. The third took her, in the like manner the 7th also. They left no children and died. Last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife of them is she? For 7 had her to wife. Jesus answered and said to them, The children of this world marry and are given in marriage. For they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage, neither can they die any more, if they're equal unto the angel. So the children of God, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses showed at the bush, when he called the Lord, the God of Isaac, Abraham, God of Jacob, and the God the living, for he is not the God of the living, but the God of the living, for all live unto him. Then certain of the scribes answered, said, Master, thou hast well said. After they durst not ask him a question at all, he said to them, How say that the Christ was David's son? And David himself say in the book of Psalms, The Lord has said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies my footstool. David therefore calleth him Lord. How is he then his son? Then in the audience of all the people he said unto his disciples, Where are the scribes that are to walk in long robes and love greeting the markets, the market, the high seats, the marketplace, and chief rooms at the feast? To devour widows' houses for show and make long prayers. The same shall receive greater damnation.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, Christ certainly had answers for him, didn't he? And he's got answers for us today. And, the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders are coming against Christ today, too, aren't they? With the doctrine of free will, doctrine of Arminianism, doctrine of dispensationalism, doctrine of works. All of these are false doctrines. Well, I hope you have a good day today. God bless.